Jobber Nation, welcome to our 11th episode of season 4 of the Jobber Tears podcast. As always, I am Janelle from HR here with Sir Wilkins and Mr. Black, and the return of Leo. Leo, welcome back.
I am back.
Why do you sound like that, son?
Why did you just try to give us Star Wars, like some Darth Vader shit?
I don't know. I just keep forgetting that I'm not in front of the camera too. Nobody can really see my expressions.
Well, they can hear it. I think they can put 2 and 2 together.
I am back.
You are back. What's new?
Like 2 days ago I fell off my window.
You fell out your window?
Yeah. No, it was yesterday. Cause I got locked out of my house, so I had to get boosted through the window.
So somebody boosted you up the window so you could get in the house.
But
was the
your
windows
room,
locked?
your
My mom's room.
where's
so
that?
you busted through your mom's room.
Is it that high?
That's why I had to get boosted up.
No, the thing you couldn't jump and then pull yourself up.
No, because I had to jump and latch onto the window.
Yeah, you couldn't pull yourself up.
No, it's all the way to the top. No,
I think I can do that.
I had to get boosted all the way.
I think I can do
to
it.
the ledge.
Well, you have a little bit of hop, so.
I wasn't hopping up there like that. My back is messed up still.
Oh, yeah, your back is messed up.
Oh, I was like.
That's all you do is do a nice. You just climb up.
Wait,
pull
so
up.
who helped you into the house?
My bud, man.
Wow. Did you tip him?
No.
Wow.
Your
You have terrible customer service. He
The
said
guy
it's me.
you met, the light skinned guy?
when I went to your house and you were, never mind.
Yeah.
You was fucking?
No.
No,
Oh.
he was just
You was
what's the-
fucked up?
No, yeah, like fucked up.
Fucked up.
And I was like, yeah, you have to. I'm leaving. What do you mean you're leaving? Okay. Then he calls me and said, where are you? I was just there.
I left.
I'm leaving.
Because I went to the bathroom and then you just disappeared.
But I told you when before you went to the bathroom that I was leaving.
I didn't understand what you were saying.
Wow,
I thought
clearly.
you were saying, I'm here. I thought you said I'm here.
So I'm just gonna like.
It sounded like you said I'm here. So I just
Okay.
thought
All
you
right.
said
All right.
bathroom.
No problem.
Anyway, well,
How'd you get back to the city?
the same way he got to you.
Oh.
To the Metro North.
You mentioned North End?
Yeah. So it was a waste of money me coming up there because of your state.
Yeah.
The state of Leo to be good. Having babies.
They good. They good.
They gonna be what, 2?
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah.
My fellow
They live
Virgos.
with me now. I'm dropping off the voucher for the daycare Friday.
Oh, they officially live with you now?
Ooh,
Yeah, they
Thank
live
God.
there.
I'm sorry. Does she
you
watch the
got
podcast?
daycare together?
No.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck her. Thank God.
Yeah, they in daycare by me now. I'm a full-time father.
You check it.
So I'm gonna come by a little bit more. Check on the God kid.
Full-time
Because I'm never
daddy.
going to her house.
No.
I would never go to her house.
I don't go there. I don't go there at all.
I might catch malaria.
And you never,
My nigga.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
you never know. Anything can happen. Yeah, I'm a full-time dad.
Look at you all proud about
I'm
it.
not proud about it.
Okay, you should be.
I should be. I am be.
Yeah.
I am B.
I am be.
I am, but like I'm not at the same time.
Why?
Cause like, all right, every single morning, all right, my room, my mom's.
Because you're an adult?
No. All right, I sleep with one child outside. I sleep with my mom. So like,
Who's sleeping with you?
Jaden.
Light skin one?
Yeah.
Of course.
And Jay sleeps with my mom. So every single morning when she used to go to work, he comes banging on my door.
As he should.
Or if I'm really passed out, knocked out from the other night before, he was like, for the past 3 days, he was just knocked out on he was just face down, ass up on my floor. And then I wake
Why'd
up.
you
like,
say
at
that about
7
your
o'clock,
child?
And I just see him like, oh shit. I'm like, I ain't dealing with this shit today. I just leave him there now. So then I just continue.
Okay, let's stop incriminating yourself now. All
It's
right.
not incriminating, he's
No, I'm pretty
stupid.
sure.
He's the smartest one.
Yeah. He did, I bought a coloring book and the thing, and then he's been coloring.
Crayons?
Yeah, nah.
Color pencils?
Stencils?
Yeah.
Stencils.
Yeah, that.
Okay.
And he's just been coloring and just ripping it out after he does it. After he finishes a page, he rips it out.
That's because he's super intelligent.
Yeah.
Or he's done. Like he is, but he's done.
No,
coloring, so he's on to the next
he's
thing.
about to be a child prodigy.
Yeah.
Let me keep your
So
kid, B.
stop trying to.
Let me get your kid.
Can you can't be out here stealing people's children.
How much? Yo?
Wow.
Okay,
What type
let's
of
stop the
black
show.
market shit you on? Whoa. that just took a turn for the worse.
All right, cool.
Well, we did not record last week, technical difficulties and all that jazz. But we have some announcements. This is our last episode in this space. We are moving to a brand new space. So we are super excited. We want to give you guys, a little bit more different quality. And, with that, this will be our last episode in this space. So take a good look, reminisce. We've had a lot of funny moments in here. But because we did not record last week, we do owe Mr. Black a happy belated birthday. We celebrate. So shout out to everyone that came out to Love Story and did the open bar. Shout out to Will and Love Story in Brooklyn and Bushwick. That $25 open bar fucks people up. I repeat, fucks people up.
We should do another one.
We should maybe do like every other month. I don't want to say once a month because that's hard.
Do one in September for the end of the summer type of vibe.
I would do it for my birthday, but I've done it before, so.
But we can still do it before your birthday.
Oh, okay, we could. We have mad people come out. I really would want to do a barbecue. That is not fair. But anyway, happy belated birthday to you, the big 3-0. How do you feel? Regular, okay.
Yeah, I don't feel 30, I feel 25.
Sounds good. Ooh, check you out.
I don't look 30 either, I look 25.
Well, actually, Black on crack, so none of us look the age. So I told one of the managers at Virgil's, I was telling her about my birthday trip. And she was like, how old are you turning? And she said 30. She said, you look good for 30. So, girl, Black don't crack, so you know. But I do have a question to ask you, but I have to ask you off camera because it's a little personal. Because you went missing, and I was trying to figure out where you went. Then you popped back up almost like an hour later. So I do have some questions for you, but that's, off camera stuff. But happy belated, and thank you to anyone that came out and to celebrate Mr. Black's 30th birthday at Love Story. So thank you on the 4th of July. So thank you. As we did announce 2 weeks ago, it was a breaking news, but we're going to keep pushing it because it's going to be the hottest party of the summer, our Summer Slam viewing party, and we have no other than Hot 97's own Peter Rosenberg hosting our show. We are going to have more details. I keep telling you guys, we're going to be doing a lot more details as the weeks get closer and closer in terms of how the event will go. But that whole SummerSlam weekend, we're going to do NXT TakeOver. Actually, the day before that, if you are in the New York City area, HOG will be having their, high intensity show. They do it every SummerSlam weekend. And this year, you have Private Party, which are HOG homegrown superstars versus the Young Bucks headlining. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I was so concerned for you for a second. But so we're starting on SummerSlam weekend with HOG, and then Saturday it will be our NXT TakeOver and our Jobber Slam 5. I feel like it's like, like Star Wars when you have like 5 Return of the Jedi type shit. So I feel like we need to really name Jobber Slam 5 something super duper special. But it will be our 1 year anniversary of doing Jobber Slam. So I'm super excited about that. And then once again, we're going to cap off that whole weekend with our SummerSlam viewing party, once again hosted by Hot 97's own Peter Rosenberg. So stay tuned for more details and all of that jazz. We're going to have a lot more announcements coming in a few weeks. So just stay tuned for that. But then also this Sunday, we have WWE Extreme Rules at Legend. So come out. We're going to have maybe some shot deals. I don't know. We're working on some new menu stuff. So we're trying to give you guys a little bit of different things going on at Legends. So, bear with us. But come out, support. Anything else going on before we do our weekend in wrestling kind of review, recap? Any shows coming up? Shout outs to Ace Andrews and Big Cuz for being the BWF Tag Team Champions. They won it this past weekend. So I want to give a big shout out to you guys at BWF. I'm so proud of you guys. They've been big supporters of the podcast from the beginning of time. So we're so proud of them. So shout outs to you guys. I'm trying to think what else is going on. If this Saturday, if you are around the WWE Network, Evolve 10-year anniversary show. So will be shown for the first time ever on the WWE Network. Super excited about the card. You said who?
The new Battle Club champion, the 5-2 player.
Oh, he's gonna be there?
No, I'm saying he won. We didn't announce that.
Oh, so announce it. Go tell the people. I thought we did.
No, we didn't.
That episode.
Oh, yeah, we probably did.
But as Mr. Black mentioned, shout out to Battle Club Pro. They are working on their next show in September, so stay tuned once again for more information on that. But Evolve 10-year anniversary show with, you have the NXT champion, Adam Cole versus Akira Tozawa, and I'm actually really super duper excited about that match.
Wrestling.
So, shout outs to Big Will Knows Wrestling out in Atlanta. And anyone in the South that's, listening, Carolinas, Virginia, we thank you guys for always supporting us. So before we get into our opening segment, let's talk about, let's recap the weekend in wrestling. It's kind of a new segment. I feel like we need this portion before we get into the WWE stuff so that we can kind of cover certain things that happened on this weekend. So starting off, the G1 Climax 29 in Dallas, Texas. It was a historic evening where New Japan Pro Wrestling had their first G1 Climax show in the United States. So shout out to anyone that was in Dallas, Texas, and you kind of got a double header because you had that on Saturday and then you had Impact Slammiversary on Sunday. So Dallas, Texas was really popping this weekend. But real quick, what's one thing you kind of got from G1 this weekend that kind of stuck out to you?
I didn't watch a G1. I forgot it was on.
Shame. Should watch it. Catch it on, Access will probably replay it because it was on Access. I just know the channel because I have Sling TVs and I have Access, so I get excited when I see New Japan on. But all right, Sir Wilkins, what's one thing that kind of popped out to you watching G1 this weekend?
Zack Sabre is actually really good.
Zack Sabre Jr. should have won.
Because I think he's way too skinny. He's built like Leo. And that bothers me.
He absolutely is. But he moves crazy.
Seeing him really enjoying it, I'm like, oh, my nigga, you good. You real good.
I mean, my one highlight, I think, not stole the show, but I think one thing that kind of gravitated to me was like Kenta's performance against Ibushi. And I think him winning kind of built, it's laying the foundation for his, new found, I guess, emergence in New Japan. So I'm actually really excited that he won, and he won by using the GTS move. So I thought that was pretty dope. Moving on, as everyone knows, my new favorite promotion, MLW, had their Kings of Coliseum in Chicago, Illinois this past weekend, and we have a brand new MLW champion. Jacob Fatu won. I am super excited, not only because he's on my team and I got points for that, but being the cousin of the Usos and the nephew of Rikishi, I definitely think this, first of all, I feel like if you have a kid with a Samoan, they all gonna look the same. Like, I'm really concerned because they all look alike.
Well, they all have beards and long hair.
No, but I mean they all look alike.
They all have beards and long hair.
Like, if the Usos had braided their hair, they would look like Jacob.
They all have beards and long hair. That's why they all look alike.
No, but it's just so weird.
They all have beards and long hair.
And some just look favor more than the other. It's just, that's just gene is strong as fuck.
Add some blackness and it'll change. Like, I want to see how Naomi and Jimmy's kid look like. Is it Jimmy she's with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because I can't tell the fucking difference with the Usos. But I feel like if they have a kid, it's gonna look Samoan.
Well, it's gonna look Samoan, but it won't look like the family because of how strong Naomi's.
Roman's kids, because his wife is black.
She's not full black, is she?
I don't know.
That's why.
But the daughter doesn't look like Samoan. She looks a good mixture of the both of them.
Now look at The Rock's daughter.
Oh, I don't know what Danny is though.
Danny Garcia?
I mean, I can't always assume. But
Danny Garcia?
I still don't know what she is though. Like, people say Garcia and they think I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican, and
but that's still some type of Spanish.
True.
And look at how The Rock doesn't look Samoan.
No.
Because his dad is black. Like I said, you throw some black in there, that's a whole different gene pool.
Make it sound like you just throwing some salt and pepper and some
No.
Like,
when you throw black in there, you throw in flavor.
True.
No offense to my white people out there, but white people don't have the genetics aren't that strong.
No.
So when you throw some black in there, you mixing something
Samoans.
up.
But did any of you guys watch if you haven't, it's on YouTube, on MLW's YouTube page, if you wanted to catch Kings of the Coliseum. I thought it was a really good show. You also saw the return of Conan, and the promo that Conan and Selena De La Renta pulled together, the storyline telling in that is just
You think LAX is going there?
phenomenal. I think,
They're gonna do AEW and MLW?
you know what it is? I feel like MLW just isn't at that platform yet for an LAX tag team. And they don't really have a tag team division like that. Like, honestly, the only like tag teams they have, in my opinion, is Dynasty, which is MJF and Richard Holiday, and then the other guy, but he's the other champion. And then you have the Hart Foundation.
So if you want to improve their tag team
like
division, throw LAX in there.
But that's like it's like an injection of steroids that it may not work type of thing. I feel like.
Yeah, but then they're gonna do AEW and MLW.
Well, who's
MJF
to see?
does it.
I don't know.
Unless, I don't know if MJF is waiting for that to be full time on TV.
No, I think MJF will still do both, in my opinion.
That's so stupid.
But like I said, MLW up and coming promotion. I'm like falling in love with it. But they will actually be in New York, July 25th, doing live tapings in Queens. So if you want to go and see live action, you can go there. And then last but not least, Impact Slammiversary. So did Rhino come or no?
Yeah, he did.
Like,
He's in trouble.
I mean, his contract's coming up anyway, so I don't even think he gives a shit at this point. But what did you think? Did you watch Slammiversary?
Yeah, of course.
So what did you think about Slammiversary?
It was wrestling.
Well, what about wrestling? Come on, tell me
All
more.
right.
Tell me, you giving me potatoes. I need meat and potatoes.
They definitely washed the stain off of TNA. Like, there's no real stain from it. You could tell from that because RVD got defeated. You could tell they're still mixing the old with the new. WWE guys with the guys from the indie talents, they don't have that TNA stain no more. I can officially say this officially felt like Impact at its old entity.
Okay.
And this really pushed them forward. It was a good pay-per-view, especially the Tessa Blanchard match.
Yeah.
And then it shows you that how that WWE is not doing the women's division right. And I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this in episode 1. Impact does women better. And this is a prime example of it.
Their women's division isn't all that either. And
But
I say
at
that
least when the women are on TV, it matters. Like, I literally been watching WWE for the month. Women division been treated as a joke. They have the same traditional recycled storyline you've seen over and over and over again. When I go over to Impact, the main event is Tessa Blanchard versus Sam Callahan. She's gonna get killed by that nigga, but it didn't matter.
nah, she held her own.
I'm saying that it was still a good main event. It didn't feel like so cookie cutter. It felt like an actual fight. And that's the feeling that I get when I watch Impact Wrestling, women's division. They feel like they fighting, they're not so choreographed.
I just think that's Tessa though. Tessa's a different character.
Listen.
Because I didn't really care for and I like the fact that they did Monsters Ball, but I don't feel like it was executed right, and I don't think the person that won should have won.
Okay, cool.
But that's
Grant
just
that.
me.
I'm not saying that how that would have won. I'm not going to the politics. I'm going to the simple fact that it felt like a fight. That felt like a fight. It didn't feel so choreographed. It didn't feel so forced. It flowed through. So that's what I'm saying. Impact women do the women right. WWE women be like, I'm like, it's cool, no, but you get a real hit and miss. Or they gotta get good. They gotta get because they lack the TV time.
Women's division in WWE is saturated. It's another thing.
But and I think that's the thing sometimes, not take for granted, but the thing that we kind of forget is like, I feel like everyone's always so quick to shit on WWE and like women's division and things like that. But like the other I said to the day, ROH's Women of Honor division sucks ass. Like,
but this is
sucks
cool.
ass.
But this is why I'm not. This is why I don't watch Ring of Honor. So.
But I'm just gonna tell you.
They're trying though, because they just brought in Maria, the man eater.
Yeah. Oh, Maria Maniac. Yeah.
So they brought Maria Maniac in to elevate the division because the division was basically the Women's Divas division from back in the day.
Yeah, because I just feel like when you have to call the beautiful people and say, "Hey, we need you,"
But that's because what it really comes down to, ROH is where it's at because the elite left, and a lot of people followed. So they're starting over, and the elite like literally took all the indie stars to AEW, and ROH ain't paying that well anyways. They're paying decent now, but it's like they're not paying that well. So you have to call somebody to fill in the slot in. It may not be a great slot, but it's one of those situations where, all right, we're here, we're gonna rebuild the division. And that one of the best moves that they did was bring in Maria, because it doesn't legitimize them, but it's kind of like it gives them a shock in the system. Like for instance, Russell Westbrook is not gonna win you a championship, right? No. But if you bring him to like a non-playoff team, you're gonna sell tickets.
Which is why they talk about he should go to Detroit. And I was just
that's what I'm saying. You're gonna sell tickets. You're not gonna get a championship, and that's what Maria's doing. Okay. So Maria, legitimate coach. If nobody knows who Maria Maniac is, legitimate beast in the ring. She's very aggressive, hits heavy, kind of stiff. She's a little bit on the technical side, but she's a brawler. You don't see a lot of brawler women in the industry. So you adding that with the pretty people. It adds something.
I mean, yeah, it's a little different. But what else kind of caught your eye from Impact? Because I know you're big on Impact, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. You know your man Johnny Impact gone.
Yeah, I know. That's my.
Where's he going?
I don't know yet, and I don't think he knows either. He should go to MLW. That's somewhere he should go.
He probably might go back to traveling the world how he used to and playing championships.
Well, he does. I wonder if he does AAA.
He does.
In Mexico.
Everybody does.
He was a AAA champion.
So my thing with that is like, but I think he should definitely go to MLW kind of situation. But
continue talking, guys.
All right. Anything else? So if anyone knows Impact,
LAX not signing back.
What?
LAX not signing.
Oh yeah, no. LAX is done. The fact that actually shout outs to True Heels. I did their podcast this past Friday. It was a very quick audible. Like I got asked 24 hours before, and I was like, of course I got y'all. Because Chrissy was out, on vacay. So shout outs to Sid and JJ and Baby Seth for True Heels for inviting me last minute, but it's always a good time. But it was something we spoke about LAX, literally, because we did the predictions for its anniversary. And literally, as we finished recording, my homegirl Angie texts me the tweet of the North winning the tag titles. And I was just like, I just started talking about the North because I'm in love with them. So
he's here.
Okay.
I guess we'll bring him on.
Yeah, if he wants to join the show.
He's fine. He did
shoot.
And he
Larry?
SmackDown. So we'll bring him on.
Shout out to Larry.
Larry Morgan's watching?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, shout outs to Larry, Sid, and Sir Wilkins for the Toxic Talk podcast that you can listen to on the Jobbateers Podcast Network on YouTube land. I'm going to pause.
Good morrow, everyone. My name is Hamelet Hurts. Hamelet Hurts, spelled Hurtsue. Now, if you include the T and you pronounce my name, I might have to hurt you. But if you follow me on Instagram, it'll be at Hamelet Hurts on Instagram, and on Twitter, at Hamelet Hurts. But if you go to my Facebook page and you type in Hamelet Hurtsue, Hurtsue, you will find a wonderful page that you may like and follow and join the Renaissance of Wrestling in everything we have to cover.
Ooh, the Renaissance of Wrestling. I like how that sounds. What are you?
He has fans, he said?
Yeah, somebody just said mark out time.
Fantastic. Welcome to the party, Sir Markout Time. We hope you enjoy us.
Welcome.
Welcome. My quick question before we do jump into our opening segment is, how long have you been wrestling?
I started with Johnny Rods in 2013, and I started in my junior year of college. I went to college for theater arts. I got my bachelor's degree in theater arts from the Theater Arts Conservatory at Purchase College, and in my last year there, my passions came together. I've been into professional wrestling since I'm 5 years old. You see, this is where the madness comes. I'm going in between. So I've been a fan of professional wrestling since I'm 5 years old. I've been obsessed with Shakespeare since I'm 13, and I graduated from high school. I wanted to get into wrestling, but I'm like, okay, I have to go to college, and you can't go to college for wrestling. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do what I love, so theater arts. So I was doing that, and then one thing led to another. I had a great board of study that was working with me, and I had these ideas, and they were just like, what you're doing with wanting to be a wrestler and Shakespeare, like this is something you should pursue. And basically one thing led to another, and I woke up one day and I had to go to a yard that will be undisclosed, and I found Yorick, and all of a sudden Hamlet came to be, and I started wrestling on the independent circuit around 2017, and I was just in Puerto Rico in March. I won the world heavyweight title with JWP down there. That was incredible. I went with New Evolution Wrestling, so the promotion that you guys saw me at, we went down to Puerto Rico, and we had a nice little tour down there. So on my first night there, we wanted to invade JWP and make a statement for us as an upcoming promotion and wrestlers who are trying to make a name for themselves. And we walked in the door, and on night one I had my night, and I won the world title there, and I had the honor of going around the island and being the face of this company that's been around 30 years, and I got to do what I wanted to do over there. And then I came back, and I've been wrestling mostly with Extreme Wrestling Alliance in Rhode Island. I just did my first pay-per-view with them last month, and I got my first win, which was fantastic. And I'll be there again. They're having their next pay-per-view next Saturday, the 20th, and Hamelet will be returning, Yorick will be returning. We have some magic to go over there. And I've just been wrestling around the independent circuit the last year. CCW Dojo Wars, New Evolution Wrestling, ECPW. I made my list, but I'm not gonna look at it right now. But I've been hitting anywhere and everywhere I could go to, and every time I get to interact with people like yourself and fans who come up to me and may not have been fans of Shakespeare or may not have been into the maybe idea of what it sounds like I'm doing, and then you join the experience and you become a part of it, and you're inside on the joke. And I've had the pleasure of seeing people who had no interest in Shakespeare, had no interest in theater, and like they see the intensity of what I'm bringing on the professional wrestling end and the legitimacy of what I'm trying to say in terms of, you may not understand Shakespeare, you may not understand the image of what this is, but if you come down to a show, if you give me an opportunity, I promise I'm going to change the way you look at Shakespeare and professional wrestling.
I think that is
very true. To our audience that may not know, what is that skull?
So this is Yorick. As I was saying, I went to purchase for theater arts, and in my last year I had this idea that I wanted to take bits of Hamlet, Macbeth, Richard III, the Henry plays, all these different Shakespeare powerful stories, and I wanted to take bits and pieces of them and basically be the vessel that these stories were communicated out of. And I got a ring and I put it in a theater, and I took this board of study that was supportive but was more on the end of, we don't understand wrestling, this is a funny, interesting idea, and we're going to let you do it because everybody seems really intrigued by it, but this isn't probably going to be as life-changing as you're saying it's going to be. And I'll just never forget that I did my story there, and when I was finished, the board of study was standing in front of me, and they're all looking at each other being like, what criticisms or notes are we going to say? And then I was drenched in sweat. Obviously, I'm doing Shakespeare, I'm wrestling everywhere, and they all left drenched, hugging me, and just left the space. It's sweaty, disgusting, and for me that was such a win because I took these artists, these incredible staff of people that truly are trying to build the next level of performance artists, and I had a statement about why I loved wrestling and what I wanted to do in the world of wrestling, and I took them on that journey, and at the end of the journey they were like, you have to keep doing this. And the question then was, okay, how does the next level of this continue? And I took the training and the legitimacy of what I built that year getting out of college, and it was kind of gung-ho from there, and I worked my way out of training, and I started working with different promotions and different things. Like I said, I got to travel this year to Puerto Rico. That was incredible. And going back to your original question of who is Yorick, so in the process of doing everything, I had this coming to be where I am who I am, but yet Hamlet is always been something, and has always been somebody that is intrinsically me. Like, I have always had an unexplainable connection to Shakespeare and wanting to do it, that again from like 12, 13 years old I just was obsessed with reading it and watching it and talking about it. So one thing came to be, and out of nowhere I found Yorick, and he just gave me everything I needed to go out and tell the world, look, this is what I did over here to be an artist and make a statement about professional wrestling, but now I'm taking Yorick and I'm going out into the world of wrestling and I'm doing chokeholds and Shakespeare and suplexes and I'm just presenting something different. So I think what a lot of wrestlers say today is, again, there's a lot of cliche things that are happening. Everybody's kind of sometimes color copies of each other, and it's not meant to be, I think, oh, I want to be this guy or this guy. I think we try to come to ourselves in a certain way that it kind of just, it reminds us, oh, this is this guy or this is this guy. But just in what I'm doing, like, I, as a professional wrestling fan, would love to see someone like me doing Shakespeare and making me, oh my God, like, who would have thought I would have saw a Macbeth quote in a 5-minute wrestling match? Like I said, I've had the opportunity this last year to really kind of drive home the last things I've been working on the last 3 to 4 years, and it's been a whirlwind, and I'm really hoping that this year in itself is going to be the Kickstarter where, again, there are so many things happening in wrestling right now. Like, it is, I personally think it's never been a better time to be upcoming and have a character and a story to tell in anywhere you want to go, whether it be Japan, Europe, you want to stay here, Mexico. There's so many platforms that the audience is hungry for something different. So, like I said, once York came to me and Hamlet just came out of me, it was just waiting, and I hit the scene and I've been going. Like, I've been hit with nothing but support, and I have people who have fun with it. I have people who are scared of it, and to be honest, I'm scared of it myself because there are things, and like it's. I mean, I don't want to make comparisons, but it's like I'm not saying anything like I'm Heath Ledger or any level like that, but it's like when you get so deep in a character and you're really committed and you understand who you are, where you come from, the story you have to tell, the presence you carry, it stays with you. And like, if you follow professional wrestling, like, it's like Ric Flair never was not Ric Flair. He was always him from the moment he stepped into this business to today. God bless him. Please stay well. Be with us, Rick. We love you. But he's an example of somebody who just has always been the gimmick. So like once I found Yorick, it's like I'm not Hamlet. Like I wake up in the morning and I get called a name, but I'm always Hamlet. And it's a matter of dealing with myself where the voice comes, and all of a sudden I start doing Shakespeare and Yorick is taking my voice and my imagination is going different places, and then all of a sudden I see a script and it's Taming of the Shrew, Act 1, Scene 2, and enter Petruchio, and Petruchio is now going to tell a story of taming the shrew into a necessary place that no one in the world has ever seen her before, and then all of a sudden I go into a story. So it's finding the balance, and I know we have a show that you have to stay on track. And
no, but it's good.
It's fine. It's
good for the viewers to know and get a sense of who you are. Because they've probably never seen you. Like we never saw you until that day. So we're like.
So more of a follow-up question. Outside of your inspiration from obviously from Shakespeare, who else do you take inspiration from? More like, for example, what modern day director of film or body of work you say, yo, I like his film work, let me incorporate some of his stuff into my act? That's
a great question. Growing up, and I would still say today, like Kenneth Branagh has been a major inspiration.
What some of the movies he makes?
So Kenneth Branagh is an actor who has pretty much dedicated his career to doing film versions of Shakespeare plays that are kind of putting them into different contexts. So when a lot of people think of Shakespeare, they think of a Laurence Olivier style performance, or like by Laurence Olivier style, I mean like a very heightened drama, like I am telling you this now, and there's no realism behind it. Like that's why with what I'm doing, I like to dance around on that. But with what Kenneth Branagh did, he basically did movie adaptations of these plays where he really just demonstrated such a grasp of the text and the real command of telling you, I'm right now living real life and I'm saying real things, and as beautiful as it sounds, it's coming from a real emotional place, and you need to understand that.
Did he do Romeo and Juliet?
He's basically done everything. My favorite films of his, I love the Henry V, his Hamlet, Much Ado About Nothing. He has a tremendous body of work, which I would recommend anybody go watch.
Is it the one with Leonardo DiCaprio? That's not the same.
No, that was a different director.
Okay. Did you like that one?
So I didn't dislike it. I like any Shakespeare movie or play that is presenting it in a different light, that gives a different connection to it. The whole thing about me is I hate the stereotypical cliche, Shakespeare's old, it's not something I can connect to, it's not me. Because, I mean, let's be honest, what is the normal reaction from people who don't understand wrestling? It's that thing, I don't really know what it is, but I know it's not a sport, it's not a competitive sport. So I don't know what it is, but I'm just kind of putting it to the side until you show them, a New Japan match or just something that makes them feel different. It's like, okay, now I kind of see why you watch this now. So with Kenneth Branagh did for his movies, that's how I think I was intrigued always by the text. And when I saw my first Shakespeare movie, it was Al Pacino did Looking for Richard.
It's a fire one.
That to me is my holy grail, because that is the epitome of, here's somebody who's incredibly humble, who's a tremendous actor and is working with the most unbelievable actors in the world, and they're all sitting at a table right here, and they're just saying, look, here's this thing, people don't understand it, how do we bring it to life? Mm-hmm. And they just show the process from A to B, and how he didn't rush it to the movies, like people wanted it, and he took the process. It was years, and he's still working on certain projects that are on that level, but just that in itself was the, oh my God, to only be involved in that discussion of how do we bring this to life, or to work with the level of this talent. And that was where so what I like to say is professional wrestling gave me an understanding of what charisma is and what presence is and what is to have that standout star quality that people just have. And the difference between that and what I saw presented in Shakespeare was what showed me that people can have a swagger and they can have a meaning to be there, and physicality. Like, that's what just got me hooked to wanting to have that presence. Mm-hmm. And then Shakespeare was the understanding of, okay, now if I can look into this enough and grasp this enough, and I can take the power of this and bring it back to what first turned me on to wanting to be involved as a performer and make people involved in storytelling. Like, that's when, like I said, by the time I got to college and I just ended up in front of the right people in the right place, it was like, it's now or never, and now it's now. So in terms of certain people and things that have affected me in wanting to change the way people look at Shakespeare, Kenneth Branagh was incredible. Film today, theater, in terms of having a presence, like right now, just to show the world I'm not just a guy running around with a skull saying that I'm doing Shakespeare. I'm doing Taming of the Shrew in Hamelet Park this August. It's with Brooklyn One Theater Company. They've been doing Shakespeare festivals the last 4 years, so this is going to be, I think, their 5th in Hamelet Park, and it's free. So there's no reason. This is Hamelet Hurts' gift to you, world. Make your way to Brooklyn, come to Taming of the Shrew, see the art of Shakespeare, and then maybe, if you didn't understand what professional wrestling is or could be, you will say, you know what, Hamlet, I understand what you're trying to do. I will come to your next professional wrestling show. I will buy a ticket. I will sit in that seat, and I will understand the story you have to tell. And that's all I want to do.
Well, before we do jump into our opening segment, I got one last question.
Sure.
Favorite wrestler of all time?
Oh, it's a hard question.
No, top three.
Yeah, thank you. You saved me.
She's absolutely ridiculous with that.
I'm not.
It's like over 40 years of pro
I'm
wrestling.
not.
So
every time I ask that question, everybody goes, oh, but then they end up giving me the answer.
Well, I could tell you, I'll give you a different answer every day, just because it's what intrigues me most about the level of what you bring to the table that day. Obviously, like...
Okay, so what about today?
Today, I would say Eddie Guerrero, just because...
I like your day.
It's a good day. So, I mean, just in terms of, again, we're talking about charisma and professional wrestling legitimacy and the ability to get people excited. Like, whatever Eddie Guerrero was doing, I don't care. When he came out and he was going, like, you were with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so... In terms of, like, there are super strong characters, like Undertaker is an incredibly strong character, Stone Cold, incredibly strong character, and then there are, like, wrestlers who are fantastic but can get very easily lost in the fold of the tremendous talent that's in front of you. And, like, every time Eddie Guerrero came out, he always stood out. Like, he was always just such a heavy presence that even, like, today sometimes I'll watch Eddie promos and I'll get choked up just because, like, it's... there are certain people that you can't fake the authenticity of having a real love for this business, and you could just see it in his eyes. Just like there are so many people out today, and that you could sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours. This guy, and this guy. So, I mean, my dream would be to really build myself to being in even the smallest category of being close to a guy like Eddie Guerrero or The Undertaker or Stone Cold or Triple H, or like guys like today who are being incredible, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, the people who are making a presence and they're planting their flag and they're saying, look, what happened yesterday is yesterday and what's going to happen tomorrow will be tomorrow, but I'm here today and this is me planting my flag, and say what you want, I'm going to come out tonight, I'm going to do my thing, and tomorrow's another day. Like, I like when Al Snow says the lowest form of human intelligence is an opinion, because you don't have to have any understanding or knowledge about the subject to have an opinion. So again, we have people, everyone has an opinion, but I think we know people who are wrestling fans, we know people who are just appreciative of storytelling, and a big thing, I want us to get to the show, a big thing that I just say to
you are
people,
the show, actually.
all right, well, I know, but you guys have a schedule.
Surprise!
So
He's the show.
So do you see people honor us sometimes? Like, we go to shows and people boo us, and now we have a platform to talk. So a thing that I think is just so incredible with being on the scene today and having a presence is that whether you're in this country and you're Japan, you're in Mexico, that people are ready to see something different. So what I say to a lot of people is that when you watch performance art, if you go to the theater or you sit down in a movie and you get hooked from the moment it starts to the moment it's finished, you're committed to it, right? But what we do in this business is we put our bodies to that extra level where there are so many different platforms of just what this is in itself, where again, you have deathmatch wrestling, you have hardcore wrestling, you have professional, like just match on match wrestling. And then it's like, no matter the style, there's always that level of how far am I willing to go to give you that cathartic, incredible experience that you couldn't get in the theater, that you couldn't get going to a movie, and that you couldn't get sitting at home watching your TV. And that's what this is. That's why the heart of what we do is based in having people come into the space and drive it. Like, again, when you guys know, when you're in the space and the energy of us and the ring and the realism of what's happening, it's like, it's consensual fighting. It's not, again, like, we're not trying to necessarily say we're UFC or we're boxing, but it's consensual physicality where, again, if I step into that ring to tell my story and you don't come at me with the physicality that I need to make this person know who I am, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you legitimately. And then it becomes a matter of where do we draw the line in how far we go to tell our story. Because at the end of the day, my problem is that Hamlet is so easy to just poke at the performance aspect of what we do, that my whole style is chokeholds and Shakespeare, because like my agility, my strength, I don't care if you're a guy in the audience or the guy who's in the ring with me. If I have you in a hold, I'm gonna keep you in that hold as long as I want to, and I'm gonna do this monologue until I decide to finish. And like, my style is what legitimizes like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this guy do Shakespeare now because wow, like if I was in that hold, he'd break my arm, but this is different. So like, I see certain things in wrestling, and then it's like, I just wanna have my own story where the physicality is as legitimate as it needs to be, and the story that I'm telling in the moment is as powerful as it needs to be because of the physicality, which is why what I do, I feel, separates me from just professional wrestling platforms and theater, because I'm taking the years and the degree and the work that I put in to understand what it is to tell a real story in a real time and real space. And then I'm taking the experience of, I had a handful of people beat the hell out of me and wrestle me, and I came out of the house of Johnny Rods, and you can't get more real than that. So you have certain people who come in and out because they're members, and when you're lucky enough to be there at the right time, you have this guy tie you up, and just the experience of being with somebody who's really wrestling you, like, okay, this is no joke. Like, you watch us on TV, you think it's this, and then boom, you're in the ring, and now it's real.
And now you're getting choked the fuck out.
But I have a question for you. So you mentioned, when we asked you about your favorite wrestlers, you mentioned a lot of old school guys, which is the older generation, attitude generation, borderline ruthless aggression era, and then you mentioned AEW guys, whatever, but you didn't mention WWE guys. Now the question I want to ask you, because you continue to talk about passion, heart, and this and that, I'm going off a ledge at this point, but do you feel like that passion has been lost in WWE, that's the reason why you didn't mention them or any current wrestlers from the E as being guys that you like?
If anything, I was listening to the conversation you guys were having before I walked in, so if anything, I was hoping to get to the E in terms of In terms of where I was
Got no
starting,
schedule?
no,
Go ahead.
yeah, exactly.
Just talk.
In terms of where I was starting from, like again, I'm talking about people kind of trying to build from the ground up. Like obviously, there's no comparison that the E is the top of the top of the top in what professional wrestling is around the world. Like no matter where you are around the world, people know WWE. So in terms of that, like it's still the number one place that if you're in this business and you're professional and you're trying to actually be real, you should 100% be trying to get there at some point. I think. So in terms of people who are there right now, like Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, I think has had a tremendous comeback now, and he's
Are y'all the same height?
he's having a presence. I think he's probably probably the same.
How tall are you?
6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bumped into him in Brooklyn. Yeah. Both same
But
height.
in terms of the E, and I have some friends who are working there, and some people who are just coming up right now, and I think honestly this is the best time for the WWE because if anything, we all know that when we get, it's whether you're a company or you're an individual, when you get comfortable because there's no stimulus to challenge your authority and you are the end all be all, just things are going to slip through the cracks because you're not on top of every little thing. So I think now, just with the way things are kind of evolutionizing around the world, I think it's given people within the WWE who are upcoming and people who have been established there a little bit more weight for certain people to say, look, we are the end all be all, but sometimes we can get called out on stuff too. So let's show the world now that why we are the major platform and the number one place to be. And I think if you're a talent there now, you couldn't be there at a better time because now they want to use all of the tremendous talent that they've acquired over the last few years, the talent that they built up on NXT, the talent that debuted on Raw and SmackDown 205 Live and got the debut, but maybe didn't get the carry-on of the story that they needed to get the establishment of their fan base and whatever they needed to build at the time that they were being introduced. But in terms of the talent in the WWE, the production quality, the ability to tell stories, it's the top in the world. There's no competing with that. But in terms of, like I'm saying, the underground of people who have maybe some individual recognition but are trying to do something collectively, like that's maybe why I'm just focusing on AEW a little bit more, just because I find it inspiring when I can see certain people that I feel have a passion to want to do something different, obviously from what I'm trying to do, and see them come together to put everything on the line. Like All In was just like, there's nothing in the wrestling business that's been like an All In. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of
What would you rate it from a 1 to 10?
All In?
Yeah.
I don't like to say anything's perfect.
But I want to give you, so you're going to rate it two different ways. As a fan of the sport, because you obviously are a fan from, you just talked enough
Sure.
to prove yourself as a fan.
Sure.
And as a professional wrestler. So there's two ways of looking at the show. So I want to know, as a professional wrestler and as a fan, how would you rate All In?
It's hard to
Bless you.
It's hard to really judge it from both perspectives because again, to judge it outside of the chair of where I am as a professional wrestler, it's like I'm judging the quality of the guys on the show. And again, I'm not even saying that I'm at their level or better. So to give them anything less than a 10 on the effort and the ability and everything that they demonstrated, to me is a falsehood to them because I think it was one of the most incredible experiences in the history.
Did you go?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But again, like in terms of the buildup of how they got there and the guys coming together and what they're doing now, like that moment in time, I think is its own incredible experience. As a fan, I have to give it 10. And just as a professional wrestler, I have to give it 10 because I feel like if I don't, it's taking away what it really means. And again, we're talking about like the WWE and other companies around the world that are now looking to step up their game, not necessarily because AEW has established themselves as a major player yet, but they made the right noise with All In that allowed them to get to a Double or Nothing, that allowed them to get to where they're going to be now in October with a major platform. And now that you're seeing certain people, professional wrestlers make choices to stay in the WWE, to finish out their contract, to go here, to go there, that's why I'm just kind of talking about the individual and like the underground kind of coming together of certain people and certain things. But again, there's no discounting that like WWE is number one in the world, that places that like Ring of Honor, New Japan, like the Impact. There's so many places that as a professional wrestler up and coming, to be there on that platform with their talent and tell your story is, any of those experiences would be the best.
Oh, no,
you know?
I respect that. Any things that the viewers are saying?
Oh, well, it just restarted. So anybody anything said.
Do you remember anything that they said?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Because he always loves.
Okay, so
I feel like now I have
We
another
can get-
question. I know, but
If you could do like a sonnet.
A sonnet.
that's gonna be at the end of the show.
what?
Why don't you come to a professional wrestling program, or come to Taming of the Shrew, and then you will get a sonnet. But maybe if you stay with us long enough, perhaps if we get involved in the conversation, perhaps a sonnet may just come out. Maybe Yorick will tell me what to say, but we have to wait till then, because obviously there's a wonderful program that is meant to be given to you today, and you have to go off script, and this is why everyone who wants to work with me cannot understand. We must go from Act 1 to Scene 5 through every scene, and if you skip a line, let's just... Please, to the program. I'm
All
sorry.
right, so our OMG moment of this week, starting off behind Gorilla's position. So if you not have already heard the fight, and I put this in quotations, the fight of the night happened last night on Tuesday at a Blink-182 concert. So apparently, it all went down at the PCN Banks Arts Center in New Jersey, where Enzo and Joey Janela went toe-to-toe. Lies. It actually was not toe to toe. If you look up Enzo's Instagram, it was him being like this and Joey Janela on the other side.
No, but this is funny. Dick riding ain't no form of transportation.
So he put on his Instagram, he put the video on, and Enzo put on his Instagram,
You use that, right?
Dick riding ain't no form of transportation. And then Joey Janela kind of put his 2 cents in on Twitter and said, not a work. I saw the dude walked up and said, hi, I'm Joey Janela at the Blink-182 show, and he proceeded to have, and he said, parentheses, I'm not Lennox Lewis. I was like, is that the only boxer you know? But anyway, to have the shittiest fist fight of the year, which actually it pretty much was the shittiest fist fight.
They didn't fight though, did they fight?
No. Literally, it was Enzo trying to be all big and bad and was like, and Joey Janela, you just see him like it was.
well, the thing
bad.
is, it really comes down to this. I respect Enzo for keeping the same energy, because Joey Janela spoke shit about Enzo after the Ring of Honor invasion angle that they did with him and
Kaz.
he goes by Kaz.
We're just gonna say Kaz, because we
goes-
know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he goes back with Kaz, and Joey Janela went online and was like, "Yo, this shit was trash," which a lot of people within the industry in the IWC felt. So
I didn't feel that way.
I didn't feel
and
that.
I was there.
But the thing about it, once again, I didn't feel that way. But you have to understand, like, the IWC, which is, if nobody who knows what that means, is the Internet Wrestling Community. They're purists, or pretend to be purists at the sport. So Enzo has never been they've never been a fan of Enzo, because Enzo is not considered an indie darling. He's not like this super technical wrestler, which I understand. On that's their opinion on it. Which is, opinion is a low form of what we said earlier.
I wish Al would have told us that when we
But the thing about it, it is what it is, and that's the reason why. But yo, if you just talk massive shit about me, I don't want to talk to you at a fucking show. You go kiss my ass.
I will say this though. We will say this. We have to say this again. This is the world of professional wrestling, and this is the only world in which this can happen. They are both working professional wrestlers currently. This happened. Is it going to happen down the road? The fact that we're talking about it means it's interesting.
True. So that actually brings us up to we gotta keep him off. It actually brings me up to my question to you guys. Would you actually like to see Enzo versus Joey Janela? Why not?
I didn't like to see Enzo wrestling in WWE. What do you think I'll see?
Don't do that, because Enzo, first of all, Enzo low-key carried the cruiserweight division.
The last time that
he had got way better from
That's
NXT.
That's not the point. Look at, I'm trying to count. When's the last time you saw him wrestle?
When he was in WWE.
My point.
But just because you haven't seen him in a long time doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to wrestle. Like,
again,
somebody could wrestle last year and took a year off.
Last time I saw him, let's say there's a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest, right? And generally, in everyone's opinion, right, the 10s are the Stone Colds, the Undertaker, etc., the Seth Rollins. Those are the 10s. And there are the lower card guys, as far as skill-wise. They're the Enzos. There are the what's that dude's name with the Cobra thing? This, that, and third. Those are the
Santino.
Santinos. You know, those are the guys that have that make up those. They're not that great, but they stupendous at mic skills. Those are the guys that have those specialty skills. Enzo's specialty is talking trash on the mic. And he's terrible at wrestling.
He's not terrible at wrestling.
Let me finish. So he went from, you know, what his skill sets, like he is prestige in mic. Yes, he was leveling up with his ring skills. But if you're not practicing something over a course of time, you're not going to get better. So Joey Janela been doing this forever. He's repetition, practicing, putting all these hours in. Enzo's not. I don't want to see that match because, again, it's not WWE where it's more choreographed. This is indies. So unless they're having a straight up street fight that Joey bring down his level down to make it more fit to Enzo, cool. I don't want to see that.
But maybe it would be a legitimate fight. Like, okay, talk about the Matt Hardy Edge rivalry, right? That was based in a real heat, in real stuff.
Cool, but the skill sets were better.
Sure, they were better, but again, we're talking about what's gonna put asses in seats and what people want to get.
Joey like doing his summer. He like doing all the shows, WrestleMania weekend, summertime. He does stuff at bar wrestling in Cali. Like he does that stuff. So that stuff, like that's why he was smart enough to tweet like this isn't a work. But bruh, is it though?
Unless it's a street fight, unless they're straight up brawling. I'm for it.
But Enzo still wrestles though. Enzo still gets indie dates. He doesn't get as many as like he should be doing, but he still gets indie dates. So he's not that rusty from the ring. And then any proper professional like Joey Janela would help elevate Enzo in the ring because Enzo's not that far removed from the ring. This isn't like two old heads going at it like Goldberg and Undertaker. No disrespect to the Undertaker. I'm blaming more Goldberg on this one.
Thank you.
So he's not that far removed. So having them in a match, Joey be like, all right, let's do this. Like you said, street fight. You can work around that. Now, the money that could be generated from that, you just had this Blink 182 shit that has happened. Enzo could go off on do some promos, all this other shit, and this is money. This is money. This is legit money that could probably be made. I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star match. Absolutely not.
But I'm gonna need Joey Janela not look like a whole pussy though. Like that shit. Like if you watch it, pull it up later. If you watch,
this is one.
He was
but hold on.
And then he's stepping back.
But hold on. Two things. I'm gonna let you go because I want to hear your opinion on this one. I'm a professional wrestler. My body is worth money. Last time somebody got into a bar fight had to give up the title. And you know who that was? Shawn Michaels. He got jumped by some Marines because he thought he was a tough guy. Next thing you know, his ass got beat and he had to give up his title. So Joey Janela just signed a new contract with AEW. So just in case this shit happens, who got more to lose?
But they don't pump fake it.
Yeah, but who got? But hold on. You probably you're right. You're like but then you're like, oh, you know what? I got a contract. My career is now past just being an indie star. It's going to a part where I'm being a professional wrestler on TV weekly. I just had the match of my life against John Moxley, a former WWE superstar and heavyweight champion. So you know what? I'm gonna chill the fuck out. He look like he look like a punk? Maybe so.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it, Enzo's boy is right there. And Enzo is got some hood in him. So his friend like, oh word, this is what we're doing. You get put down. And Enzo to stand there. Your points.
I mean, I think we're in a world today where everything can be taken out of context. Like again, Enzo put up his video. I'm sure there's another video that has another angle that doesn't show Joey backing up and just sees Enzo going back and forth. So then you could argue Enzo's going back and forth. Like every perception is reality. Like you put something out, somebody sees it, they make an opinion, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, yep, he's right, that's it. And then that's how it's like, it's cheap and it grows. I'm not saying it looked either way. I'm saying that like, I agree 100% with you. As a professional wrestler, your body is money and your fights are money. So again, I just said I planted the seed, right? What if it wasn't a real heated fight, right? What if it was like they've been talking and maybe they're trying to build something up to do something down the road. Enzo wants to have a big return of some kind somewhere, and they're building it. So again, Do I think it really is that? Probably not. But again, the only place that could even be a thing of discussion is in the world of wrestling. And then, you know,
Bunch of liars.
but again, but we're talking about the value, right? And like you said, Joey Janela just had one of probably his biggest matches on a huge upcoming platform against a former WWE champion. Like, you're growing. It's like that's a huge thing. Why would you throw all of that away? Because I'm telling you, if he did fight, and again, you're drinking, you're doing stuff, so you're never really in a full state of mind, probably in a concert where it is to make those professional decisions. If you know at that
punk
point.
rock concert, Blink 182.
Yeah,
They're gonna be
but
so
it was
hyped
lame.
up,
It was
and you
lame.
better not do nothing. You better not do nothing stupid. You better not do nothing stupid.
But that's the point. Is like. You know if you do fight at that point, you're gonna get that phone call within the hour of like, hey, this is all over the internet right now.
You're viral.
Whether you win the
Wow.
fight or you lose the fight, it's bad.
Now-
because it's outside of the context of booking you.
So speaking of AEW, people giving a call. This one.
Well, let's talk about off with the head. So, AEW announced their senior advisor Jim Ross, good old JR, appeared on Busted Open. Why is it Busted? Why is that the name of their podcast? That's us.
Because it's busted open, like you get hit in the face,
Yeah.
it's
It's
busted
just like,
open.
My God.
no, I
Stop
get
thinking
it.
nasty.
No, I'm just thinking of like rap. I'm not calling hip hop. I was like,
It was not a hip hop. It's run by two country ass white dudes.
But Busted Open Radio on Wednesday, which I believe Bully Ray is on there as well, and I think Mark Henry from time to time.
Mark Henry's
is
on
on
there.
there as well. But JR was on there to promote Saturday's AEW Fight of the Fallen event in Jacksonville, which is a charity event that they're doing down in Florida. And his quote, he said, "I think the chairs have run their course, to be honest with you." He said the chair shot back in the day, the chairs were as usable objects because we were sitting on them. The ringside fans and the studio audience were sitting on them. Those steel chairs and folding chairs were everywhere because they were handy, easy to stack, cheap, easy, inexpensive staging. Now, then nobody sits on a steel metal chair anymore. They're all locked up on ringside. They're usually nice chairs. And shout out to WWE for giving like ringside seats that are really nice and cushioned. J-Quan has like plenty of them. And then announcers actually don't even sit in, fold-up chairs. They sit in like computer chairs, comfortable chairs. So I'm gonna start with you, Hamlet. What are your thoughts about chair shots in the wrestling business? Has it outrun its course, or do you think there's still room for more?
Can I address just the chair? So
Yeah.
we're talking about like the chair is outdated. It worked out that it was ringside and it was there and that was its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, now today, maybe that's not the case, but the chair has its role. It was established. It has its place within the world of wrestling like a character. It's people expect it. The tables, right, were announced tables. Like the guys were sitting at a fold-out table with the monitors, and they would smack the monitors off and put the guy through the table.
Like you knew every time when Raw started and they went to the Spanish announce table, you already knew somebody was going through it.
Of course. So it's like in that sense, we have the nostalgia of, okay, this is where these things came from. And maybe they're not relevant in terms of how they're being used today, but people still pop for it because, again, you can't fake a hard chair shot to a part of the body. You can't fake going through a table. You can't fake anything about wrestling. And that's what it is that it's our bodies doing all these things that stuntmen aren't doing, we're doing it. So it's like people expect to see metal chairs. They expect to see tables. They expect to see ladders. So I think you can't talk about it having past its day if somebody is coming to the building because of a hardcore match where they might just want to see a guy take out a chair. And maybe the items don't always have to be used, but people like the tease of, okay, here's this guy coming with a chair. Oh, he just got smacked in the face. Oh, I hope maybe someone's going to use that chair later. But going to the actual chair being used, like, I think everything is meant to make you slightly uncomfortable and question the realism of what's going on. And like, again, my thing is I'm crazy sometimes and I'm not, and it's real and it's not, but that's the way it is. The chair is real, like if you get hit on the back, it's real. If you get hit in the head, it's real. Like, do I think people should be getting hit in the head with the chair all the time? Absolutely not. Do I think it causes issues for people, absolutely, and there's a history that we could talk about. And we don't have to get into it now, but obviously certain things speak for themselves. Where if you're taking this type of activity long enough, it's going to cause long-term damage. But again, everything's built the right way. So if you have a heated rivalry that's been building and building and building and building, you know, a chair shot is totally legitimized. And again, we have no idea. They're just starting really to unveil the history of Sean Spears and Cody Rhodes and why the chair shot happened. So now, I'm sure when Jim Ross does his interview, we're going to get a whole story as to why this needed to happen. And it's going to legitimize why it needed to be the way it was. And again, we can all feel as uncomfortable as we can about it, but at the end of the day, it's getting us to follow what's going on. Mm-hmm. And, you know, people who love this business, they're committed to doing things like that.
I mean, half about the whole chair shot is the use of it has evolved. Last event, you saw Fire Fest.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it was used in many different ways. It was not one way it was used. You know, John Moxley is definitely known for tossing people onto the table.
Yep.
Now, necessarily, like, it is kind of weird, but if you're coming up from behind for somebody, you're going to use your chair to hit them in the back. So the chair is not as useful in the more traditional sense that we grew up with in the whole Attitude Era. Now it's used more as a prop to connect to something else. Like, if I'm tossing somebody from the top row to a pile of chairs, it's gonna hurt, like you said. Now, if I grabbing somebody and slamming them onto the ground with the chair, it's still gonna hurt. So the way it's used back in the day, it's obsolete, but it's still relevant to this day because it has many different uses. Now, look at the different uses of the evolution of use of a ladder from what we saw from Razor to Shawn Michaels. People lining up against the top row, against the ring, and they slam everybody to there. I've seen people grab like this and slam onto somebody. We're forcing people to evolve with the chair shot. So everything they're using WWE, like the chair is still there at ringside, but but it makes sense because listen, there's chairs in every stadium because it's easy to stack. So it's going to be there forever. Any event you go to, any event, it's going to be a chair. So I get what he means, but he has to address that the chair has evolved.
Have you gotten a chair shot yet?
I got it in my back.
Okay. How did that feel?
Feels fine because it's folded. But it hurts. Like, you gotta understand, shit hurts regardless. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, fuck it, if when I got slapped across the chest by my teacher, that shit hurts. And I still have scars from that shit. Sure. But one of the students who's not as strong was like, whatever. But when it comes to the chair shot is like you guys all said, has evolved, and it's more psychology. The psychological part of wrestling, which is people sometimes forget about it. Now, the reason why people are talking about this the reason why JR was saying this is PR.
Yeah.
Because once again, IWC got all pissed off because Cody got a chair shot to the head and he started bleeding.
I thought it was great.
I thought it was absolutely phenomenal because, like you guys said, it showed something. It's part of the storyline. Now, I'll give you another example. When Seth came out on Raw, hitting everybody with the chair, psychological. It showed that he was furious, showed that he was mad. Oh, I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm going to start hitting people. I'm frustrated where things are going right now. Psychological part of the game. And you fell for it. Now, Shawn comes out, hits Cody on the head with it. You're like, holy fucking shit. Even if Cody didn't bleed, you still be like, what the fuck is going on here? Because you're showing his frustration. Like you said, it's a prop. It's to a point of we're going, why is he mad? Him punching in the face will show that he's mad, but it's not. The chair is going to show he's really mad.
A little bit more emotional.
Exactly. And you're talking about how he's talking about chairs not really there. Bro, have you been to back of catering? You're using folding chairs, you're using folding tables.
And again, like, we're talking about like the buildup of things, right? So, and that's why, you know, there are so many things that happen outside of the legitimate professional world of wrestling that anybody could take a phone, go in their backyard, hit somebody with a chair, and say that, oh, we're wrestling, whatever. So, like, there are things that obviously that are taken for granted all the time. and you could see anywhere, and because you see it over and over and over again, you think it's overexposed and dangerous and reckless, when, again, in professional settings, in real places, you build up rivalries, you tell stories. First it's a match, then it's a grudge match, then it's a hardcore match, then it's a last man standing match, then it's, it keeps building and building where, you could tell the whole story with a chair. So now it's like, okay, so we have the Shawn and the Cody story, and the chair is really the heart of it now for that story. So I guarantee you in the moving forward of where we're gonna see this go, they're gonna keep going back to the chair. And I'm sure you're not gonna see 100,000 chair shots. Maybe they'll tease it the next time, and then something will happen where they just keep going back to that moment where this was Cody's big moment, and he worked so hard, and he came to this big show, and it was a success, and here's this guy who just finished his contract and smacks the hell out of his head and wakes him up now when he's bleeding, and all of the glory and the achievement that he had, that he did, it all is for nothing now because it's concussed. He can't even remember it. That whole moment is lost now. So now, depending on how the story evolves and how you go, it's all centered around the chair. So again, look how they could paint it around this one thing when, to these people, there might not even be a rivalry or a grudge or anything, and they just go in and within 4 or 5 minutes of wrestling, the guy goes underneath the ring, pulls out a chair and smacks him. That to me is pointless.
Look at Seth betraying the Shield.
I was gonna say, what is some of the infamous chair moments?
Yeah, these are, but
think of?
but you always own one.
Tommy Dreamer, the chair shot that heard around the world when Tommy Dreamer smacked Raven against the cage.
Okay.
I got The Rock versus Mankind.
Oh yeah,
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The man
God bless McFoley.
No,
man.
the one I was gonna say was Rock and Ken Shamrock. And people forget about that shit on Raw.
Yeah.
When literally Ken Shamrock was on his knees and he just kept saying, he was like, "Come, give me the best you got." And when The Rock hit him with that chair,
And you got the one that who was able to wield the chair is Shane McMahon chair shot.
What about that JBL chair shot to Eddie Guerrero going back? Yeah,
So
right.
the chair shot, let's not forget that. Even in modern day times, you got the AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose, and it ripped his pants because of the chair. Yeah. So now you got John Moxley versus what's name in the hardcore match. You remember him flipping him the same exact way.
It's this is PR. This is Ross playing PR for
Concerto.
Edge and Christian.
Yeah, like it's this is PR that's being done on on their part because Khan went so soft after that happened at the press conference. He's like, "Oh, well, we're not really gonna do that a lot." No, that was supposed to happen, and I was like, "Yo, this happens all." But the thing about it happens all the time because as soon as that happened, the blood and sore, and then I get it. People were talking about CTE, chair shots to the head, all this other stuff, and the internet went wild. And I'm gonna leave it on my part on this part. What's gonna hurt AEW is trying to overplease the fans. There's gonna be times where you gotta crack some eggs to make a fucking omelet. Some people are gonna be unhappy with what's going on.
I mean, that's just wrestling fans in general. We're not always pleased, and that's just what it is. All right, let's move on to our Raw and SmackDown recap real quick. We're gonna do one up, one down. Let's start off with our guest, Hamlet. One up, one down. Basically, tell us one thing you liked about Raw, one thing you didn't like about Raw.
Well, I want to give Yorick a voice here because I feel like we haven't asked Yorick any questions.
Okay,
so I know that Yorick and I have spoken a little bit about Raw before we came in. Yeah. So I know that Yorick mentioned that he was really impressed that the style of how Raw just felt so different. Like it started off with a match, and then you saw Paul Heyman.
I don't mean to interrupt. I've been saying this on the podcast for so long. They need to stop starting with a fucking promo in the beginning of Raw. And everybody is like, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Just keep it the same way. I was like, it's an overdone format. But go ahead.
I was selfish because I always get home. It's like 8:15 and the whole match.
But again, I love promos, and again, my whole thing is storytelling. So I think when it's done the right way, it's great. It's just again, if that's the constant of how everything is constantly happening, it gets stale. As opposed to when you're excited that somebody comes out and they have something to say. So I know Yorick was just mentioning that he thought the pace of how they started, and then even just the subtlety of Paul Heyman coming out at the time that he did, and they're not talking about it, and then he's walking away, and then you know that as a fan, you know that he's in another role right now, but as somebody watching the show, ooh, what's going on? I got to keep this going because I got to know what Paul Heyman has to say. And then they come back, and then they go to him in the ring. I just, the way the show felt, it was very obvious that like the tone of what's happening in the world of wrestling has had a ripple effect in the WWE, where again, like it's very easy to read, okay, Paul Heyman is taking control of Raw and Bischoff in charge of SmackDown, and okay, to a fan, visually that's the hook, but we all really know who's running and pulling the strings. But it showed to me and to Yorick that there was some element that was not out of the control, but was definitely influential of like Paul Heyman, and I'm probably sure a few other people that want to construct a different type of format to give certain people opportunities and to do different things. And I was impressed. I was like, I would turn in next week to watch.
All right. Well, what's one down? You gotta have some ups. You gotta have some downs.
Sure. So one down being, again, I'm just gonna go with the time frame. I think it's just the show is really long, and I think that regardless of how inviting and how exciting it is, like I said, in the start of the show, you had the match happen, and then the finish happened, and then Heyman comes out in a way, and then you're hooked because you got to make sure you know what happens. Like the way that felt to me was great. But again, when you're doing, it's like Hamlet's a 4-hour play. If you don't have the way you're telling it right, and you're just like, I'm gonna do all of Hamlet, you're gonna lose 90% of the audience at some point because it's so long. Yeah. So I think that, just the time in itself, I understand it from the perspective of you want to use as much time as you have to give as big of a platform as you can to all of the talent. But I think that in terms of the quality, it would be maybe more beneficial to cut it back to 2 hours and maybe just have these stories that are structured be a little bit more formatted, so you don't maybe have a 6-month program or the whole SummerSlam build-up to the WrestleMania build-up for everybody, because again, now we're in the world where everybody's involved in WrestleMania. Like if you're in WWE, and you've been doing something, most likely you'll be involved in WrestleMania in some way, the Battle Royal or anything. Like, so it's not, it's obviously still super selective to get onto WrestleMania. It's a dream for any talent. But when you're working on a level of constantly having to do a little segment in a big show, there's so many things to watch that I can't make a real connection with you. As opposed to if it's shorter and something's happening, maybe not for as long a period of time, but it's more condensed, I have more time to connect with you. And then if that's done right, that'll resonate with me longer by the time the next 3 months something happens. And then when the guy comes back, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to see this because that thing a few months ago was great. Oh my God, the next pay-per-view.
Go. All right, one up, one down, real quick, so we can get to these predictions.
I said one up for me was United States Championship program, and like they finally used the commercial ad breaks to its full justice, because they switched it up. You know what? You defeat Luke Gallows, film my man's the machine gun Carl Anderson.
Yeah.
So you doing that was a good way to like freshen up that formula. And another down for me is Rey Mysterio.
Yo, first of all, I was mad that fucking Bobby Lashley was doing an Instagram challenge.
I don't mind Bobby Lashley.
Look, I was holding somebody.
NXT. Like I just felt that this man came back from injury, this, that, and third. This man actually came back to your company. Whatever the situation, this man came back to your company, and this man is a veteran. He basically put it over. You put on any talents, but yeah, use Bobby Lashley to forward your story. You should use Bobby Lashley versus someone else, like a local jobber talent.
Well, no,
True.
But then we would have complained like, oh, Bobby just going to do another job.
Well,
because that's how I feel about War Raiders. Like I'm just like,
cool,
all right,
true.
But cool. But do not spoil Rey Mysterio's coming home party. If that's the case, you could have just been some Bobby Lashley versus No Way Jose. Bobby Lashley versus someone like how you haven't seen. Bobby Lashley gets like a Rey Mysterio, it used to be something else. You know, that was my down. But overall, I have to admit the pacing of Raw is a little bit more fresher. It's a little bit easier to sit through it. You know, it's still cringe, but overall though, it's a little cringy, but not how it was before. So overall, it was good.
I mean, I love the fact, shout out to Cedric Alexander. I love the fact that they did that. I mean, you could clearly see it was not the same guy.
But it was whack.
Because he was shorter.
Yeah. But it was whack at the fact that they lost. It was stupid.
No, it makes sense because once again, we always complain about the storytelling and them losing, it made sense. So, and also, once again, everything with the 24/7 shit is always going to be good. And I like the fact that they're using Drake Maverick and his actual wife.
Right. She bad.
I like actual shit.
Right.
But you see her match with, what's her face, with Johnny Gargano's wife for the Mae Young Classic the first year.
I'm gonna watch it.
It was really good. All right, SmackDown real quick.
You mean the Kevin Owens show?
The Kevin Owens show. Guys, let's talk about it real quick. When I went down.
I have to say, let's take the obvious. Wow. The whole thing was up, but for me, that stood out to me the most was seeing Shinsuke. Like, I'm not complaining how the match went down, but I kind of felt where, like, it was good to see Shinsuke on screen. And no talking, straight to business. I'm just going to knock your head off. And he did it twice. So it wasn't like, the reason why I like the match makes sense because Shinsuke is a hard hitter. You know, Finn hasn't wrestled, is a good storyline, man. Finn hasn't wrestled in a while, this, that, and third. So Shinsuke hasn't wrestled in a while, so he's kind of rusty. So good formula to get them two together in the program. A down for me, actually, no downs. It was an excellent program. Everything was straight through, even though that's focused on one character, but it all go back to the saying that he was put in different segments. He beat up Dolph, you know, he had a little thing that he had that, he said what he stunned Shane. 3 different ways to promote the same guy. You remind him that he's still a brawler, he could brawl in anywhere situation. You mind the fact that he's still a promo guy, and you mind the fact that he could still pop anybody and still get that unexpected, I can get you out of nowhere, that void out left by Randy Orton. So, like I said before, it ticks every 3 boxes that he has his prestige abilities in. And 3 different segments, 3 different ways to promote. It promoted the audience, it promoted Dolph, and it promoted his stunner as this is legit. No, I'm talking about this is Kevin Owens' stunner. Now you could connect I don't call it Stone Cold Stunner, I call it the stunner.
Well, there's also a history behind it because he's been asking
to
to use it forever.
And then Austin finally gave him the pick. That was why he started using it.
Wait. You for real?
Yeah, so the whole thing is that Kevin Owens had been wanting to use the stunner.
Yeah.
He wanted to, it was kind of like an homage to Austin, but everyone knows Austin don't let nobody do the stunner. So years and years have passed where he's trying to get Austin, like, well, let me use the stunner. And Austin just kept saying, no. Like, he just kept blowing it off. And finally, when KO came back from the injury and, rehabbed himself, and once again, that time was magical. Because he asked Austin again for his blessing, because that's what he wanted. He didn't want to use the move without his blessing. So when he got the blessing, and when he came back on SmackDown after the injury, he did the stunner. So, there you go. Because not a lot of people do know the story, but then people are always, like, shitting on Owen, like, why does he use Austin's stunner? Austin gave him the blessing, so let him rock out.
But at the end of the day, also, there's certain people that, like, I feel like can get away with certain things if they know how to brand and work themselves. Like, no one's watching Kevin Owens do a stunner and saying he's doing a Stone Cold stunner. He's doing it, and you're seeing him do it. You're not seeing somebody trying to be Stone Cold.
Exactly.
And, like, in that sense, the only thing I'm going to say about SmackDown is, like, the reason he can do the stunner is, like, look what he said to Shane. Like, in terms of, like, you go around saying you're the best in the world, but you're taking away TV certain thing, as opposed to here's this guy venting and now we're comparing him to roles and doing certain things. But for SmackDown, just like Kevin Owens just doing his thing and like
Kevin Owens show live and in color. All right, as we did mention earlier, Extreme Rules this Sunday come out to Legends. If you and your good friend are not busy on Sunday, come out to Legends. Here on 33rd between 5th and 6th in New York. We're gonna do quick predictions and then we're going to sign off. Let's start off with we didn't talk about this about SmackDown. I like the fact that the person knocking was Cesaro. So you have Cesaro versus Aleister Black.
And like how that with the Easter egg with the bar.
Right, so it was
Good
weird.
Easter egg, a very good Easter egg.
Yeah.
So who do you guys have? What?
I wish I was younger. Somebody asked you what you
Oh.
think about Roman Reigns winning the SP.
Yeah.
What about what I think
Oh,
about what?
Roman won?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what Larry was saying.
Yeah.
I read that totally wrong. I was just like,
Yeah. How you,
Oh, my opinion on what? What?
Roman winning the SP.
So they had like the best like WWE moment thing where it was like Kofi
He
winning, Becky winning, Ronda, and then Roman's return.
Oh, and they said Roman
And
Roman
Roman
won
won.
for best return. Okay, I mean like okay, let's call a spade a spade. The guy had leukemia and he came back and he's wrestling.
Exactly.
I mean like I don't care whether you like him as a character or as a person or whatever. Like the man did something that people who are recovering from from horrible diseases only dream of doing, and he is now back to doing what he does. And like to me, how could you even compare a comeback? Like I could talk specifically about things that like are wrestling and work related, but in terms of just a guy having a horrible disease that like I have like family friends who have passed away from, and seeing him come back in the time frame that he did, and to have the turn of the audience now kind of could be with him because of the struggle he had to go through, like that's kind of rewarding in terms of like you know that the people who boo him mostly are the guys who boo John Cena, and you know you can like and boo whatever you want. That's the whole joy of being in the world of wrestling. But you have to look at what's real in terms of what we know is real, and what we know is that he had multiple bouts with leukemia, and he had not a stint, I don't want to say that word, but he had another run of it where he had to leave his position, and we didn't know what was going to happen. So the fact that, God bless him, he's doing well, he's back in the swing of things, just for what he's accomplished, he 100% deserved that award, outside of all of the wrestling things. So yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
Like I said before a couple of weeks ago, this is a real life event, you know, and it's not something that you could come up in a big writing room and write this up. You can't make this up. It's like when Mac Johnson got AIDS. You can't make it up. And now this is Roman Magic Johnson moment. And forever he'd be cemented as somebody you can't boo. Everybody loves Roman. Everybody loves Magic. Listen, I can't be Roman, man.
But again, it's also like
there's a difference, and that's the thing I try to tell people. There's Joe, and there's Roman.
But you have to understand though.
And I'm not booing Joe.
But I cannot boo.
I respect Joe the man.
But I cannot boo Roman because let's be
But I can boo
serious.
the shit out of Roman.
No. You know why I can't boo Roman? Because he's doing his job. He's getting paid all his money. It's not his fault that the boss keep on using him.
yeah.
So I can't boo him because I'm looking like he's just doing his job.
But if the job isn't at the level that you may want or you enjoy,
But that's also kind of out of his
I'm
control.
gonna say this. Roman, Drew McIntyre, it's Roman if he went to the Indies first, because they are very good in the ring.
But
They
Drew's-
hold on, wait.
Drew's
Let me
story is
finish.
very
No, I
different.
understand that. If Roman went through the Indies, he will move just like Drew McIntyre.
But he kind of did though. He went through OVW. He went through the
That's
NXT
not Indies.
thing.
That's not
It-
Indies.
it
That's not
basically
Indies.
is
Because
their Indies,
because
though.
NXT then was more development time through WWE.
But
It wasn't at the indie
It's
juggernaut
still-
it was
it's still
today.
that indie, just like when people look at Evolve.
But hold on.
Roman's in
But
the same
NXT
category.
was not in the juggernaut it was when Roman was going through there. It wasn't. So all I'm saying is this. Reason why I cannot boo Roman, because for one, he ticks all the boxes I want in a wrestler. If he was playing a video game, he has the prestige. Like his mic skills may not be on a 10, but his mic skills is good enough to
He's a
get to that
97.
stage. Yeah, it's a
Like
97.
skills are
Yeah.
at like an 82.
82, but yet his look, 97. His in-ring ability, as far as like putting people over and make you look believable, that's like a 98, 99, dogs. So either way though, I can't get mad. Now, someone like Enzo, after a while, you could, hold on, no, I'm gonna
But
tell you
I'm
why.
glad you said that because that's what I was going to go to. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna say,
like
yeah.
you could boo him because it's like, you like he's terrible in the ring.
He's not terrible. Goddamn.
Because he's terrible.
he's not terrible.
So the fact is, it's like there's someone that you can find. If now, it's just you can say, you know what, you can nitpick at him. Now, great example is The Miz. The Miz is the most. He is that guy you could pick in any video games. He's the Mario character. He's the average Joe. You could still win championships with him because he gets it done. You could get through Rainbow Road with him because he's the Mario character.
All right.
And this is why the Miz is. That's why I'm saying that someone like Miz, you're like, you know what? I could cheer him because like he worked hard and he still could carry something. He get through Rainbow Road.
All right, so let's run through this real quick, and then off camera we can talk about wrestling shit. So you have Aleister Black versus Cesaro. Who do you guys have?
In my heart, Cesaro.
Yeah, because Cesaro
He deserves it.
He doesn't remember because his boys basically now is retiring.
Well, he's not technically retiring.
Yeah, and they can make some best of 3 series.
Speaking of Sheamus, if you haven't, check on Natalia's Instagram.
Yeah.
The workout thing that they do together is by far the funniest shit.
He's on YouTube. There's a workout page he has.
Yeah, but it's like some workout booty shit, but it's him and Natalia, and it's the dumbest thing.
So what's
it's
next?
So funny.
He was just in a movie on Netflix.
Or maybe you just saw the movie on Netflix.
Yes. Who you got? Oh, you say Cesaro.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, Cesaro.
So what's next?
You have the Raw Tag Team Champions of the Revival versus the Usos.
The Revival.
Yeah.
I gotta go with the Revival.
Yeah.
Because Uso don't do more rings.
Yeah. All right, you had the WWE Cruiserweight Championship rematch. Tony Nese has invoked his rematch clause.
Drew Gulak.
Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese.
I gotta go with Drew.
Yep.
All right. We have the United States Champion Ricochet versus the phenomenal AJ Styles.
AJ gotta win because I feel like Ricochet gotta learn how to chase something after it. And now he's going against a trio. That makes good storytelling.
Ricochet should have really won Money in the Bank, but that's a different
So what's next?
conversation.
You didn't go with Bobby Lashley and Braun.
I was mixing it up. You have last man standing, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley.
Bobby leading more.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Bobby-
why would you do the whole Rey Mysterio thing if
Yeah.
you're not giving it to
Yeah.
Lashley?
And
Well, so that Braun can come back and look stronger than
But that was my point in why it needed to be Rey Mysterio for Bobby Lashley because the only
Because
thing.
it's a little-
Well, no, because I think the way that
Oh,
Bobby
shoot.
Lashley has developed the last few months, you know what I'm saying? Like
It makes
it
sense.
didn't make him. I don't feel like he came off as when he first got back in the WWE. To me, he had a buildup that you could have built him up to Brock Lesnar. He could have had that presence when he came
Okay,
out.
now
You
that-
know,
okay.
and again, the way he was used, kind of the Leo Rush angle, and he never pushed through as when this guy's here, he is going to kill everyone. So now you need to, again, now that certain things are changing and there's creative decisions happening, you need to have a guy like Rey Mysterio, who is recognized as the greatest masked wrestler in WWE history, to have this guy squash him.
Makes sense.
I'm
That's
sorry,
it.
All I saw when Bobby picked him up, all I saw was back when NWO.
Kevin Nash?
Yeah, when they threw him on
Yeah,
that truck,
I saw
that's all I
shades.
saw. I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
don't
saw
do it,
shades
don't
of
do
that.
it.
I saw
Yeah.
shades of
You have the SmackDown, finally, you have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions of Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Big E and Xavier Woods versus Heavy Machinery. And I want Heavy Machinery to win,
Yeah.
personal reasons, but who do you guys have? Now, if you realize if New Day wins, then all three of them all have titles.
But
too.
Kofi's hurt. Yeah. I gotta go with I like Daniel Bryan and Rowan. Even though but Heavy Machinery could be the heavy favorite because the other guy, because of his name, the one who looks more skinnier, he could cut
Tucker.
promos. Tucker cut very good promos.
You know what
and I
said
realized on
to
SmackDown.
Jessica when we watched SmackDown, I said, "Yo, Tucker looks like a condition of Taz, but talks about
Yes,
it."
Yeah.
he talks
It
way
was
better.
weird.
Yeah, and the other guy, he's they're better version of Big Cass and Enzo because
Yeah.
they're better versions. So Heavy Machinery, I gotta go with Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, me too. And again, in terms of shining, they're
Yeah.
ready. They're
Yeah.
ready for it.
All right, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match of Bayley versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, 2-on-1 handicap.
Yo, Nikki Cross gonna win the title.
But Nikki Cross winning means both her and Alexa are with they're the women's champion together.
Hey, that could probably bring some spark to the women's tag team division.
I'm going to say that Nikki Cross is the reason that the finish happens, but Alexa Bliss takes the title.
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
that carries that forward.
Okay, I think that's
Because I
right.
And Nikki Cross will win it down the road.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like I love the story that they're building with them. Like,
I like that too.
I
It's
was
new.
just-
It's
Yeah.
new.
It's actually low key disciple because it was the same shit they did with Mickey James.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
It's here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the WWE champion Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe. I'm so torn. Samoa Joe.
I gotta go Kofi because he's a black champion, and
Kofi is advertised
Yeah.
for SummerSlam. He is on the fucking poster.
but it's just
So-
like Kofi is just like they do him justice
Do you
because
think this match will kind of like make his title reign a little
Yes.
bit more?
but Joe has to literally kill him in his match.
Yeah.
I want to feel like, yo, not the whole John Cena get beat up for like 50 hours. You do one tournament. Oh no, I want like the back and forth. They going at it toe to toe. Joe picks him up, throw in turnbuckle. Then Kofi. The next time they do it, Kofi bounces off and turnbuckle parry. I want something unique what he did in that cage match. Because the fact that he just zoomed over, I was like, perfect. Like I said before, Reigns, you need those. What I said in a couple of. You need those prestige wins. You need those prestige moments that make your title reign stand out.
All right, let's talk about the Universal Championship winner takes all match. We have Seth Rollins. You have Becky's bitch versus Lacey.
I don't know.
And Baron. I feel like Baron and Lacey are gonna win.
I don't like Baron Corbin. His
I
outfits.
just read something that
don't spoil it.
no. This is not spoilers. This is like information. Like this is like demographic information. That like they did a poll testing and Baron Corbin had basically a huge hit in girls the age of like 14 and 24, and apparently like he's had a huge spike in his fan base since they put him together with Lacey Evans, and that they've figured out like his fan base is similar to like Jeff Hardy's in the early 2000s. So
Because they look like their express manager.
but again they're looking at if there are eyes on him right now, right? Then how could you tell a story and carry it out?
He's one of the best heels they have in the company right now.
No. I'm not denying that. Like he took the Miz role as the best heel in the company.
That's what I'm saying right now. So right now, Corbin winning. I mean, the whole like it will reverse the story in a sense, and now Becky and Seth will now either have troubles in paradise, and then they'll go and, and get the titles back, or
they stale. So they need this loss.
Yeah,
they too stale because I feel like one biggest thing I feel like Steph basically. Why would you do this for? Your company's not doing great as far as quality wrestling. Why would we go on Twitter and argue with these guys from these other companies that who will blow?
Because you're the face.
Exactly.
It's your company.
And it's your company.
But he's too much of a company's
man.
man.
But that's like if somebody went on Twitter and shitted about us.
Yeah.
And we didn't say shit.
They won't.
But we don't know that.
I dare someone to do that.
But that's the example I'm using, though.
Of course, but I'm saying that sometimes you need to know how to shut up.
Well, he's company man, and sometimes you gotta speak to the company.
But again, if there was ever a business to talk shit in and get, some attention for it, this is it. So the second somebody says something to you or something about you and you don't go on Twitter and say something. Yeah, exactly.
You gonna look crazy. All right, Hamlet, tell the viewers at home and on YouTube world where to find you and when is your next few shows that you have coming up.
Oh, it's very busy. Tomorrow night I will be at XWA Thursday Night Throwdown. Friday I will be in North Bergen at ECPW, and Saturday I will be in Springfield, Massachusetts at a lucha show. So follow me on Instagram for all the information at Hamelet Hurts. I will hurt you if you get it wrong. Follow me on Twitter at Hamelet Hurts. Again, I will hurt you if you get it wrong. But if you go to the Facebook page, please type in Hamelet Hurts You, HURTSSUE, and stay with the Renaissance of Wrestling for all of your Shakespearean wrestling needs.
I need you to copyright that shit because I don't want to know particular shit.
Thank you.
But once again, thank you for joining us. As always, you guys can find us on Instagram, Twitter at the Java Tears Podcast. This Sunday we are at Legends, and then once again we are counting down the days for SummerSlam weekend. We have a lot of stuff going on, so stay tuned for more information. As always, Sarah Wilkins, Sister Black, and Leo is back, guys. So once again, this is our last episode in this lovely space. We are in our brand new studio next week, so once again, stay tuned. Hashtag Black Excellence, hashtag we're out.